I think I'm just gonna set it up right here. I don't want to be in plain view. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna remove the ghillie. This is a CP camo ghillie, which matches the CP camo of the ruggedized Tough Sack. This is a Litefighter product as well. You can put another cold weather kit layer on it essentially for winter and make this 3-season tent a 4-season tent. The problem is, once you do that, you can't fit it into this sack. So I have to use another M-Tack compression sack for that. So this is a seasonal piece of gear for me. Start off with the ground cloth. And for this tent, I think this is like camp trip number 60 something. It's pretty crazy. No issues with it. It's working really well. These are the tent poles. I did keep them bound with a shock cord here that I made. It doesn't come with that. They're kind of cumbersome to deal with if you don't have a way to hunker them down, like I developed with this idea. And it's been working really good. I've been pondering other ideas, but so far this is just working really well. It's really lightweight. I got this backup one here, just in case, easy to fix. I got a buttload of them on me just in case those get lost. So I hunker down the two ends first, and then I keep my foot on here to hold it, and I push it out, make sure it stays taut. Pivot this leg here to hold that up, and then come over and bring this one in. You might not see everything every time because this isn't meant to be professional. It's meant to be informative. And I'll just store this back up here. Just a basic, I don't know what it's called, knot. That's the simplest one there. That's probably a hitch rather than a knot, but yeah. Alright. It's good to keep your empty bags hunkered down in your pocket or back in the bag here so you don't lose it. I'll just go ahead and plop the ghillie in there too. These are the stakes. So I keep it easy access right on top. I can just pull them right out. I keep them wrapped in paper towel because I don't like things clanging. And in here I have, these are snow anchors. So you can use these, there's two of them. You can put stuff in them, gravel, rocks, snow, and then kind of use that in lieu of these stakes in case you can't stake these down anywhere. I haven't gotten really good with these yet, but I did use them at Bear Head Lake State Park in February with snow, and it worked decent. It was good enough. It worked. It did the job. And I have some guidelines which I've never used because it's a lot of work and it's a pain in the neck, and I just don't want to deal with it. I only use 2 stakes when I should probably be using 6 according to the manual. But I've never been in an Arctic type of, or a tundra situation where you really got to hunker everything down. So they're there in case. There's the other snow anchor. And I did find another purpose for these snow anchors here, because I got more than I really use. So I use one of the snow anchors as a way to shield my sweat from off of my rucksack here. So I have one of these on my other slightly smaller pack as well. That's a Rush 24, Rush 511 24. Which are really, really good packs. They're not military, but they're really good, really reliable. It hasn't failed me for anything. Extra stakes as well. Extra 10 stakes. You have 4. These are the main ones that they come with. They're a little different. I bought these extra ones. They're a little longer, and they don't have as many crevices in them. I prefer these. Less mud to dig out. So 95% of the time I just pull these stakes out of here, and this is just backup supplies. That's it. Just throw the rest back. There will be a backpacking situation where I'm not going to use this sack at all. I'm actually going to roll the tent up and put it directly in or on top of my rucksack and hike in, because it's just too much to carry even this. That's going to be a Lake Maria State Park one this year if all works out. Alright, on these extra handles I created with paracord as well to help grab it a little better and easier. Really useful. And I put these covers on here, the clips. I do this for all my clips. Just makes it nice to open, but I almost never need to open these. But sometimes you do want to tighten it. So to pull this out, I kind of loop the end here of the PALS webbing. Pull this out. And do this. Now I got a mantra that I use to remember what to do here. So I always, when I'm done, I roll up from the feet. And when I start off like this, I roll out from the head, which means my head is gonna go here. This is where I intend to have my head. That way it's positioned the way I want it. And it's like a mirror. I can be malleable and go the other side if I need to. But I'm already kind of dyslexic, and it just makes things really confusing for me unless I stick with a standard. So now I'm just going to put these ends of the tent in each end here. There we go. I forgot I did that already. Okay. And bring this up. This is very easy, just clamp them on. Unfortunately, it still takes me about 12 minutes to set up the tent, and it also takes me about 12 minutes to break it down and put it away. I just can't get it any quicker than that. So I don't like that. I would like to have it under 5 minutes, but it's just asking for too much with the laws of physics. So you got a door on each side. I put some shock cord on here for those zipper pulls. Over here, this is the type of cord that it comes with. Self-locking type paracord. Not really paracord, but self-locking cord. Go in here and feel the bottom. This is a Don't Die in the Woods Mylar blanket. And if that's all you had, you probably would die in the woods. But I just use it as an internal ground cloth to kind of protect me from the bottom of the tent. And it also helps with moisture as well. This is a bag that I use to put my boots in. Everything feels good. I got that pad. I don't recommend anyone ever use an air mattress. You can't rely on them. I always hear people talking about how it worked for a couple of hours and it popped. So, and they're loud and squeaky when you lay on them, I heard. So a fly got in here. That's cute. It's really cute. It's a thick one too. So maybe he'll nope, it's gonna be one of the difficult ones. Okay, good. So once you can zip this up here and you can tuck it in here, keep it out the way. I also made some little clotheslines out of that. This is actually 1/16 paracord. Actually, it's not shock cord. I use that for socks. Well, kind of. This is a shock cord over here, right here. So yeah, this feels good. This is also a freestanding tent, so you can just pick it up and move it wherever you want if you need to. So I make sure it's good before I hunker it down with the stakes. This is gonna be good. Yeah, okay. Alright, so I'm gonna leave that open. Maybe that fly will come out. I'm gonna set up the ground mat. I created a new thing to try to put over the microphone to try to pop filter it, because it does not handle sound well at all. It peaks all the time. It's really irritating, so I'm kind of hoping it doesn't get in the way of the visual. I'm hoping it has high efficacy. And this holder for the mat, the foam mat, I made this as well. It's 2 loops. Well, it's 3 loops. And I just kind of wrap it up like I would a hank of paracord. There's Charles Lindbergh. Flying Jenny. This is the only state park in Minnesota where when you hear an airplane overhead, it's actually kind of cool and nostalgic. I've had this mat since 2022. It's been on this is the 112th camp trip. I cannot believe it. DKS, whatever that means. I cannot believe how well this thing has held up. I would have never thought. But we're circling back. Actually might be like a mock version of Jenny. Alright, so lay the bivvy out here. I got this new bivvy with the CP cam. And to match this. And to match the rainfly here. And I did seam seal it all over. With seam grip with waterproof all over. because the seaming tape that they put on the inside, this stuff right here, this will fail, it will peel off. It's a very short matter of time before that happens. So I just took the seam grip, it took a lot of time, and I just seamed it all, locked it in. I got another MSS where I learned from that. So when I got this one, I immediately seam sealed over that tape, inside and out, every seam, inside and outside. If it gets too hot, then I probably won't even go in here. But technically this is waterproof, allegedly. I haven't fully tested that yet either. But if my tent fails, then I can at least have this. Alright, so again, the 2 wool blankets I always use, even when I'm not camping. This one I probably would not take with me on a backpack. This one probably not, maybe I will, I think I probably will. But instead of using this as a pillow on a backpack one, to save weight and bulk, I probably use one of my backup gear, or my backup pants and clothes that I showed you in that dry bag. I'd stuff that into one dry bag and make a pillow out of it. So here I got this here. This is where I tuck my hand under, keep it warm. It's a military wool scarf. Use that all the time too, even at home. And then I'll put the rucksack right here when it's time to hunker down officially. Okay. I think that big fly got out. All right, now we got that taken care of. I'm gonna roll out the rainfly. And because I'm dyslexic and I like things to be standardized, I did put a line on each one of these sides here to let me know that this needs to go on this. And it doesn't matter, it's like a mirror. It can go either way, so I can be malleable. I just live in a never-ending nightmare of yes and no at the same time. There we go. And this side, the first side, I'll loop in here and lock it in with that one that was there previously. That way it'll stay up. And this side, this one goes here, and you don't need to lock it in because it'll just stay taut. Boom. That makes it taking it down easier. One less thing you got to do. Now, if it rained, we'd get it. It'd be mitigated, but we get it. There's Charles Lindbergh and Jenny flying by again. You know, there's a movie where actor named Jimmy Stewart played Charles Lindbergh, and there's a part in the movie where he's driving a plane around and it's just, he can't get it off the ground, and the guy who owns the land, he's getting all nervous for some reason, I forget why. And then after like 5 minutes of trying, he stops for a while in the plane. He's sitting there, and the landowner runs up to him and says, "What are you?" He's real nervous. He says, "What are you doing?" And Jimmy Stewart in his accent says, in a facetious tone, "Well, I'm trying to get off the ground."
What are you trying to do? I'm trying to get off the ground.
It's pretty funny. So I always think of that moment whenever I come here. And just a fun fact, I don't think he ever watched the movie It's a Wonderful Life, which is a classic Christmas movie. At least it was in a previous America. Inshallah. Okay. Okay, so I got the Gerber EAB. Just gonna get a. I don't need to slit this egg. I'm gonna use one of these. So far, this has been the year where, well, except for in the snow, where staking has been really easy. The ground has been working with me very well. But this looks rocky, so we'll see. We'll see. Yep, nice and easy. There. Oops, sorry. Sound like that guy batoning wood next to me 2 camp trips ago. All right, there we go. Well, might as well open this up. So now, obviously, if I want to move it, I got to rip them stakes out first. Now, we're not supposed to get any rain at all until like 8 in the morning tomorrow. But we'll see. All right, that's that. Probably gonna leave these open tonight. Maybe I shouldn't, because it's gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna shut them because it's gonna be a lower 60s. You always want to check, like before you just stick your hand up here, that there's not like a spider chilling, because they love to do that. One thing I don't like about this tent is this right here. I wish I could find a way to get this to come out like this, because like that, if you have this open, the water from the rain will just come right, it'll drip right down in here into the tent. But if there's a way to do this, pop it, you could have this open and have the vestibule pretty well protected, unless it was windy rain, but at least it wouldn't have no drip in. Yeah, I haven't figured that one out yet. You probably need to just sew in a loop here and then guy line it, which would make it more of a hassle to set up. There's just an easier way to make it just automatically pop. But it's a mild luxury that it's not truly needed. It rained a lot early this morning. I'd say it rained pretty heavy for 4 hours. A lot more than what I was expecting based on the projections. And it was a messy rain too. It's kind of sand all over. Probably because of the surrounding area. Okay. Take the stakes out first, and I kind of get rid of the wet mud. Just let those sit, kind of dry out, and then I can rub off the dry mud if it dries out here, which it might not. Shake off the dirt and moisture. Fold up the rainfly. It's essentially reverse order as setting it up. I've done this with this tent over 100 times, so I kind of got my own little process that evolves iteratively, but it's kind of been locked in how I do it probably for the last 15-20 trips or setups. If it was more chaotic out, I wouldn't fold this rainfly in such an extravagant manner. Be a little more sloppy with it. There's wind blowing, etc. You just couldn't get it as nice. But you got to make sure you can fit it in the bag when you're done. That's the goal. So, it doesn't always have to look pretty depending on the circumstance, but it's got to fit back in the bag. Because if it doesn't, then you got to seek an alternate option, like strapping it to the outside of your pack or something. I'm just going to take this down when I get home anyways and let it air out and dry out. But I still like it to be kind of nice and neat if I have the time and ability and the environment. So the rainfly is prepped. Start taking down the main tent. I'll store that up there, and I can't forget that when I'm rolling the tent up because I have to put this on top. I forgot that a couple of times, and just means you got to do a little bit more work, rework. Check on this because this goes quick. So by the time we're done dropping this down, that water is probably going to be ready. It's actually good to keep the two middle ones up till the end. Otherwise it'll drop in a wonky fashion. It'll be non-symmetrical. Like that. So keep the two up top for last. Boom. Now just unhook the bottom here. So it's really sandy and wet, but it's not interfering with the operability. I'm going to make sure that that's at a boil, because I don't like it when I pour it in, the coffee's still lukewarm. And I decided to not put on my rain over pants even though it's wet on the ground here, so I got to be careful when I kneel, and I got to be careful touching the ground with my pants. So now's the time when I usually kneel right here, so I'm actually gonna use the tent bag to kneel on. And I always like, the sun's trying to show, and I always love that when that happens, when I'm taking the tent down, because it's helping dry it. That is a true blessing. Whenever that happens, it's a true blessing. Brushing off some of the sand on the ends. I like to keep as much of the dirt and bugs in the park as possible. I don't like removing any elements from the park, but unfortunately it's not always possible. We do have some worms here that like to squirm in under the tent. It's very common. You also see that with like moths or inchworms. So I roll up from the feet and I roll out from the head. So we're rolling up to put it away. So that matters as far as how I'm going to roll this, lay this down, the rainfly. So I have to fold it in up towards the feet and the open end towards the end, towards where the head would be if I was in it. And before I roll it, I'm going to take the tent bag out and put it in my pocket so I'm ready to stuff it. I'm gonna check on the water though, because it is moving fast. I'm just gonna turn the heat down because it needs more time, but I want to go a little slower to try to calculate when I'll be done with this. So we're gonna start our roll. Some of the dirt off. You want a nice tight beginning, because that's going to determine the circumference, and you want to be able to ensure that it's narrow enough to fit in the sack and also in the bag. As I roll this, I'm going to be looking out for worms, because they like to nest in between the ground cloth and the tent. We got a nice tight roll going here. We're not worried about any moisture. And before I keep going, I'm going to take this top part and pull it forward to tuck it so it doesn't unravel easily. Dust off some of the sand. A lot of sand on this one. That's because of that rain. So just like that. It's about a foot curved back towards this way. I'm going to roll over that. Keep it tight. Not super tight, but nice and snug. You go slowly to let the air come out. You go too fast, the air won't come out in time, and then you won't get a nice narrow circumference. Now I'm going to put my knee on it to hold it in place. And take the bag out. I prepped in my pocket. Pull this end up, slide it in. Plenty of room left. Plenty of room left. That's what we're looking for. Now we're going to slide this down. And I'm going to do one around and take a bite. That's like a little loop, and put it through that opening I just created and pull it through. And here's where I'm going to dress it up. I'm going to kind of toy with it a little, try to tighten this, feel it out. This is where experience comes in, or kind of feeling it out, knowing. But I want this to stay snug so that when I pull up with it, it's not just going to come out easily. But you want to be able to pull it this way so you can open it easily. Like that when you come to open it again. We'll do that again, around. Push the bite through. That's just a loop, like that. And pull this up to snug it in. Now this part right here is called the slippery end. We just pull that out when we're ready to open this up, and it just comes undone. This is an I don't know what it's called knot. So this is good. Now we're gonna put this in the main storage bag. So the main tent is now stored. That's the bulk of the work for the tent. Now he might get mad at me for saying this, but the sun shining down on a wet footprint or a tent is helping to dry it. And he's blessing you, he's giving you a gift, he's helping you out. So, thank you, buddy. Thank you. So the next thing is going to be the tent poles. We're going to take these down. First, we're going to take out the tent pole bag, storage bag. Say that for last. Remove the ghillie tube. This is the tent here. Now this tent, it doesn't come with these shock cords, but this is a technique I developed to help me keep these poles together as I put it together and unroll it. So I take this length here. It's about double the length of one of my bracelets. Just turn it around once, turn it around again, that much. Boom. And I start with these middle pulls here. And I leave one of them in place, that's the base pull. I'll never take that out. So remove these, break them down. And the end one here, lock them in. Next, start with one of the legs. You just shake it off. Remove some of the dirt and break it down. And I can still use this width. I'm gonna keep it the way it is and just bring it over. That part right there can be tedious without a little bit of experience. Now I go to the other side, the diagonal side adjacent, because now I can, these two poles hold this up as a courtesy for me. So that'll save on bending over and hurting my back and my knees. Same thing as the previous pole, just take the dirt off. You don't want any sand or anything to get in the connecting points here. You want to mitigate that as much as possible and break it down. Now I can't do what I did before. I got to actually start this over, so I'm just going to take one piece. That's crucial, because if you just take a few of them and pull it off, it might automatically form a knot within itself, which is a bit of a magic trick, but it likes to happen all the time. So just take one of them, pull it off, shake it, you're good. Wrap it around once, wrap it around twice, and wrap it around thrice, and pull it down so it's even and balanced. You don't want this to fall apart when you're doing the other ends here. So we'll start with another end. Same process, repeat. Remove dirt. This was a little bit of a dirtier one because of that rainfall. Break down the poles. And same thing, you have to pull it all off and redo. 3 times is the charm for this length of this shock cord. And the final one. Remove it, let this down very slowly. Be gentle with it. Repeat process. Remove dirt, sand, mud. Break it down. You want to be careful, you want to keep your eyes on it, make sure this is staying together. If it starts to fall apart as you're pulling it up or working on the other pole, make sure you take care of it. Because you do not want this falling apart on you. I'm not going to show you what it looks like either. Same process, remove just one, pull it all off. Keep it together, Once you get the one over it, it's easier. Oh, I missed one there. You want to make sure you go through all of them. All of them. Yep, see, you're missing one there. You see that? So it can get more challenging. Make sure you go over all of them when you're bringing the cord down to lock them in. And do 3 of them, because 2 is not good enough, and it will slide off when you put it in the storage bag. Keep it nice and centered. Nice. Storage bag prepped in my pocket, ready to go. And I keep this chunk, the mid hub part, at the top. Drop that in. Now this one I can put it in a I could tie it up similar to how I did with the tent, but I don't know. I'll go ahead and do it. But this cord is not as long as that one, so it's a little more challenging to run that bite through it, like I'm doing right there, to create a slippery end for easy access to opening it. So I'm just dressing it up now. And this kind of takes feel and experience. Hold this up. And in doing that, I can't now tuck this inside of it, which is what I like to do. But I can nitpick all day. Drop this in here. And the next thing that goes towards the bottom is the poles, the pole bag. Oh, I'm sorry, the stakes. The stakes. A little bit of mud on here. I'm just gonna get a leaf. Brush this off. Not every leaf works good for this. Like this kind of leaf is not the best. I don't know the names of the trees and all the leaves, so this one is okay. There's mud on it. You can use toilet paper too, or tissue, or you can just kind of use your fingers. But that's why it's good to pull these out first. Get all the mud off that you can and kind of let them dry while you're working on it, because then by the time you're done, they're usually it's pretty dry. It just comes right off like dust. So this is the storage bag for the stakes. I roll them up in paper towel because I don't want them to clang at all. I don't like anything that clangs, except for the clankers, of course. Clank, clank, clank away. I don't consider myself a clanker, but I respect the clankers and the Clank King pirate legend himself. Put that in there. And before I tie it up, I make sure I keep the pull strings out, sticking out. So that helps them dry, but the main reason for that is easy access. So when I come to set this up, I know my stakes that I'm using are right here. I use the same 2 every time. I'm not going to do that loop thing on this one because it's just too much of a hassle. Put this at the bottom of the bag, so when I need, I can just pull it out, loosen this up, and then just take these out, and we're good to go. Now I am going to open this up tonight and let it dry out and air out. But if I had to, I could let it sit, this tent being wet like this, I could let it sit for a day or 2 and it wouldn't be the end of the world. But a day or 2, that's it. I wouldn't just pack it away for a season and then come back a couple months later, because you're probably going to have a really smelly camp the next time you use it. I'm thinking of putting this in there. Because this is really dirty. We're going to try this because I usually don't have this opportunity. All I'm going to do now is just kind of fold up this ground cloth, but I got this opportunity here to submerge it in some water here. Kind of bathe it a little. been building up dirt and grime over several camp trips. I like to keep it a little dirty. Kind of looks cool. It's like a form of camo, but it's kind of nice to help it out since we got the chance here. All right, make our way back very carefully. Be careful not to scrape any scratches or holes in it as I lay it out over this table. These dry really quick, but I don't expect it to dry 100% by the time I need it to or want it to. But that water will add weight to it as well. I'm just gonna nurse this a little. Get a little air, a little sun. This was an extra step, but I had an opportunity, so I went with it. I don't want to set it down on the sand. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take the two wide ends first, make sure they're facing the same direction, and bring them together. There we go. Make sure it's nice and straight. Now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to kind of use my hands to run along the top here to keep it together as best I can, and then grab these two ends now. Boom. Now we're cooking. Nice and even, no folds. So now we're going to take this, we're going to go forward like this. And I used a little momentum there to push this part back. Grab the middle. So make sure this doesn't come loose or fall apart as you're doing this. So now I just want to keep control of the shape. You can shake out some of the folds. I'm just going to kind of alley-oop it forward like that and catch it in the middle. That takes grace and momentum. We're going to get it so we have a little bit like that on the bottom. A little lappage. I'm going to do the same technique, but I'm going to fold it this way now. It's going to drop down. I'm going to bring it back so you can see what I'm doing. Now this is the other side. And we're going to just fold this. Nice and neat. Now bring this together. Now because this is summer, I'm actually going to roll this up. But if this was winter, I'd have a different type of configuration for my tent storage. And I'd keep it this shape and push it in the sack vertically so it fit properly. But here we're going to do our roll and go nice and slow so that you can let that air and that water ooze out. This is the wettest I've ever had it rolling it up because we just had that opportunity. So, but this is not too much more time than it would take if it wasn't wet. There we go, nice and neat. I keep these out so they can dry. Place it in here. And I'm not worried about getting this sack dirty or anything because it's meant for this type of stuff. It kind of adds to the camo. And now an extra step that I recently implemented, which is the ghillie. And yes, it does look super cool, but it has a practical purpose. in case you need to store it somewhere quickly. It blends in with the environment. I just kind of lay it down like that. This is cumbersome, but the more I do it, the more used to it I get, and the easier it becomes. But at first, I wasn't a big fan of doing this because it seemed like it was a lot of extra work. But once you get used to it and you do it, it's about 30 seconds. Same type of knot or whatever that's called. Shock cord's easier, locks in really good. Pull that up and tuck this away so it's not obnoxious. And we're good to go.